Thanks for staying with us. So today, this morning, we're discussing parenting. And this is a topic we've always discussed in different forms. But there was a story that caught our attention that happened in Cameroon. So Cameroonian police have reportedly arrested an unidentified woman whose child died after she allegedly gave the baby Tramadol and went clubbing. If you recall, Tramadol is banned in Nigeria, and we always get trailers and trailers of Tramadols arrested by customs. So she went clubbing. The Instagram user shared the story with pictures of the lady and the dead baby. Said the mother gave the child the drug so the baby could sleep while she went out to party with friends. This has generated lots of controversy as how people are negligent with their children and how negligence has arisen in recent times. My issue is not the fact that she went clubbing, because people go out to have fun and enjoy themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's some decisions we make for fun as a parent that we need to review and discuss, because this can happen anywhere. This could happen to us. This could happen to everybody who that well-intentioned situation. But Tramadol itself is an illegal drug. I don't know if it's illegal in Cameroon, but we as parents must also pay attention to what we do and why we do things. Please call us. You can call us on 0812-7053-687, 091-3907-6948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. As I said, when we read stories like this, it's not so much about dissecting the story. It's more about what are the lessons we're learning, because in this case, it's Tramadol. Well, it could be that you abandon your teacher, you leave your child for a lesson teacher. You go out for Islamic studies, or you go out for a prayer meeting, or you leave the child because you want time to hang out, or you want time to do stuff. You leave the child with an uncle next door that plays our bread. These are silly decisions we still do today that still harms our children. In this case, it was Tramadol. It could have been anything else. So let's discuss parenting and use this opportunity to remind ourselves again on how we need to make decisions concerning our children. Nima, want to start?
Let me leave intentional parenting to Tokwe and the coaches. But I saw the picture of the girl, and it was a child having a child, clearly.
Yes.
So irresponsible decisions would come up. For somebody to be having children, there should be an age around it. I don't want to be too careless to say it should be regulated when people should start to have children. But it's almost, when I read the story, it was almost like as if, who even allowed this one to have a child in the first place? That was the first thought that came to my mind. I see situations where sometimes I see mothers holding their kids, the way they even do not worry, they care, even to do basic hygiene around the child. You see that you're constantly teaching the young girl, telling her, do this, do that. You now understand why our parents used to do the omugo, because in those days, as a young girl, you were allowed to get married and have kids early. These days, in our own generation, where you're mature, you've gone to school, you've done everything, when you have your child, you know better. You even know basic, only exclusive breastfeeding, where the mother thinks the child is underweight and all of that. You know how to probe things. But if you see this girl, and the circumstances, the picture of the environment where the kid was buried, where the locals were discussing what had happened, it was a clear case of young child.
Could it have been a girl that had a child out of wedlock that, maybe the community, so she was raped,
which is why the
baby,
irresponsible...
And she's not doesn't really care about the child, really.
This is why the irresponsible act of, let me just drug the child. Some people do it with cough syrup. So the child is nagging, is throwing tantrums, is disturbing the mother, and she's looking, I cannot come and kid myself. I know some people, they'll just put, let me give him cough syrup. That's self-medication, not doctors prescribed. You just give the child so he can sleep off. Some people, just the teething period of a child, they can't have that patience. They start to give the child the child is constantly on ORT because the child is purging due to all the concussions that they are giving. I made the mistake when my first daughter was always teething. I used to think all those prescribed medicine was for the child. But I met a pediatrician who said, we just used to prescribe these things for the mothers, not for the child. Teething is a natural process the child must go through. That the least that they can give is painkillers. It's not for you, but you can't stand the child, so they'll give you... And you see people now abusing the sorts of relief medicine that they give them. The child will be purging. They are unhygienic around the child. When I was taught the basics, my children, they would teeth till they grow the teeth. Nothing used to happen to them again.
I didn't use anything.
Nothing used to happen to them. So just a bit of information and responsibility. I would make sure I'm around the child, do what I need to do. And
Okay, let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah, before we go there, I want to just say that there's this misinformation about Tramadol. It's a painkiller. It's not a sleeping drug. It is a painkiller.
I thought it was
and
a cough
it's for
syrup.
adults. No, it's a painkiller.
To numb the person out of
And it's prescribed when they're giving you ordinary painkillers and it's not working. Then maybe you have, maybe the person has cancer or something. Then they will now
just had a cesarean session.
Interestingly, when I had my accident in the US, I lost 6 inches of my right thigh, and after the surgery, and I was doing my physical therapy, the doctor said, "Listen, Mariah, I would like to give you a drug because the pain was terrible." And I said, treacherous pain. He said, "Listen, you're young, and I want you to live with the pain because eventually you'd get used to it. If I start giving you drugs now, you continue to ask for more drugs as you grow older, and then your body, you start looking for more drugs and something more stronger and stronger as you go older. But because you are young, manage it. If you're in pain, just sleep, drink." You know, he was telling me what to do. And today, the pain is like normal to me. Is it like if you go through the kind of pain I go through when the weather is changing and when my body aches, it's different because I'm used to that pain. So it's not all the time we must use painkillers for pain all the time. But let me come to you. What are your thoughts on this? Because this goes back to parenting. I don't want us to focus on only this Tramadol matter because many of us do it in different ways.
Cough syrup.
We discussed it around parenting yesterday as well, and we spoke about reassessing our priorities per time. So I'll look at it from that angle. Some parents would be like, "Oh, I've not slept, and let me give my baby's cough syrup so I can sleep." Or, "This child is just crying, let me give this child cough syrup so I can sleep." Or they'll give the child Piriton so they can sleep. People, well, in our side, Tramadol is pretty far. Tramadol is like an abused drug. What most people around that I know of, people even complain in nannies, that some nannies, some maids, they give Piriton, they give cough syrup to children. And it's a case of reassessing your priority. What is more important to you? Is it the health of your child or your ability to
Your rest
go
is
and
also
have
important.
fun?
Your rest is also important.
We must rely on one another. It's important. When we discard communal living in the world of modernization, being modern, we are losing a whole lot. If you want to go to party, if I want a weekend out with my husband, sometimes I'll just take my kids to my parents' place and I'll call BC, let my children come to your house because I know that if they are there, I will have time. I can relax. So last Saturday, I had a busy day and I spoke to a friend, a school friend, and said, "Let me pick up my children from school." I know that they will stay with their friend in their friend's house. And you can also do that, the person can do that with me. So it's important that we create communities to support one another. No human being can on their own raise children well because life's challenges would happen and you'll be frustrated.
Let me make it a bit simple, Tokwe. Let's something as small as I want to sleep. Turn on the cartoon. Watch. Now, you need that sleep. And that's the truth. We all told, "Listen, guys, you have to rest." Now, our cartoons these days are not clean anymore. So, or you give them the phone to use. Take my phone. Use my phone. You go on YouTube and just do something. Just to keep you busy. I just need 30 minutes of sleep. Now, there in YouTube, he's picking up stuff. Then pop-up messages are coming in. He's clicking, and you have no idea that your child is getting information that he's not supposed to be getting. So these are real life things because, as I said, this Tramadol and party is a bit far-fetched. But there are little things we do also that we have to do.
Exposing the children.
But with that little silly mistakes we do that expose children. I mean, I was telling you the other day that there's a rule in my house. We know times whenever the kids are on their phone, I tell my help, please always check. I don't care what you're doing. Always just walking unannounced. We check. Everybody knows. Check unannounced. What are they watching? At per time. And whenever you're in, don't go and put your laptop where you can see. Put it where we as we are walking, we can see. You know, those are little things, but it doesn't make it perfect because if kids want to do something, they will still do it somehow. So how can we help ourselves?
So one of the things that, my mothers taught me as I had my first child was learn the child's routine. There's no baby in the world that can run 24 hours without sleep. In fact, my daughter then used to go about 16 to 18 hours of sleep during the day. In between, if you calculate everything, they're only awake to suck and then they breastfeed and they sleep. And so they'll tell you to quickly, whatever you need to do, back the child, do it. Once the child is sleeping, sleep. And over over time, I've used that routine to adjust till they became toddlers and now they are restless and everywhere. So once I want to sleep, take your bicycles out, all gadgets taken. Go to the compound. There's an area you can leave them. Sometimes I'll just say, go to your mama's place, to Yolu's place, and they'll go there.
That's community.
That's community. So you must adjust with responsibility. You need your breaks. Yes, you do. But you must adjust with responsibility. It's not that you say, be going, anyhow, just waka, or you lock them up. The one that is worse is lock them up anywhere, whatever they do, without checking, or lock them up with anyhow kids. My daughter has a friend, she likes to go to her house, and it would be nice if they go there. I'll have break. But they have too many boys in the house. Because it's a house of training boys where they do trade. Please, you can't go there. And she will cry, no, we used to have fun there. Auntie, if I am not visiting, you cannot visit. We must go together, we are not going.
Yeah.
So, you must continue to responsibly parent a child.
Right.
There's no room for relaxing. If you don't want to have children, it's another matter.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
if you have the gift of your parents around, that's a gift. You can always leave them.
So this topic is quite important, especially because it affects us, a lot of people, in many different ways. This case, as I said, is about tramadol being given to a child to allow the child to sleep. But as I said, there's also different things we do to children just for our comfort. Much needed comfort, I would say sometimes. But I guess we have to also discuss how to be more careful in making our choices. Tucker, you're going to add something?
So I want to talk about another thing that we don't think of, which is that people actually go through postnatal depression. And like in that space, some people feel like this child is taking away my life. It might just, well, she's a young person. Even with older people, they go through it. So imagine how a young person who is having a child would now feel like my life is gone. Every day I wake up, I'm responsible for this child and I can't do anything fun. And there's no room to have conversations about it. Some people actually, in the developed country, they are always big on emotional support, getting emotional help, and a lot of people open up about wanting to kill their child. So imagine if people here actually start opening up about the fact that the thoughts cross their mind when they just feel like my life is over because I have a child. For some people, they just blend into motherhood. They have a child and it's like, this completes me. And for others, it's like, is my life over? And because as the society, mainly within African space, we don't acknowledge these things. We feel like women, if you're a woman, you should be a mother. It's like 5 and 6.
You know that
every
movie,
woman should want to be a mother.
That movie, The Ways, that recently just premiered.
Yeah.
Recently. Those kind of meetings that women have to share, it's something, it's a culture, they've adopted it abroad, but here it's hard for us to just sit down and go somewhere and start sharing your stories. But the truth is that the more you talk about it, it helps you to unburden the feelings and the emotions that you feel that weighs you down. So I think all these NGOs, as great as you do one big event, you put it on social media, let's have a consistent meetings of different groups. There are different groups, those that are having alcohol problems, those that are having raising children issues, those that are having postnatal depression. There are very groups. I'm not into those kind of stuff, but maybe these are things that we should start thinking about as NGOs to help them.
What would I call the communal one? Because I am blessed with a communal setup. So there's nothing that you are going through, except you are somebody that likes to keep it inside, that you will not find help. I remember that, I shared that I didn't adjust to motherhood easily, and I also had some postnatal health conditions. The moment I shared it, when I had my second child, they will constantly knock. You need help. Someone is going to the market, they will help you with something. Yeah. If you're having issues, difficulty lactating, in fact, the pap, I've not finished drinking it. Because I expressed that I had issues lactating at the second week of Imran's birth. One of my neighbors, every evening, the kunu, I can't finish it. They're not born me rich. So there are certain groups like that, but because we are so educated now, we don't relate with people that, ordinarily would empathize. Maybe you're in a group of people where everybody there are career people. Nobody has the time to check up on you, whether you want to drink kunu or you are lactating. But if you have mothering issues and you express it with people who genuinely have the time, you will find that help.
Yes, Mikey.
Yeah, I was going to take some tubes. Ngumen Fiona says, my mother used Puritin on us. And then Adeoye Oladayo says, so my niece, 16 years, gave her brother 1 year Bonabe drug overdose so that the baby no go sleep. go sleep
so that
and
you
stop disturbing. And me, my sister, drop her pikin, just go market, come back, she don't drug the pikin.
Oh.
When I came back, notice the pikin where they always play and restless, just they do somehow. Before she open her mouth talk, I don't cry tire. They bath the pikin. So what I think she's trying to say, because she's
These things happen.
the 16-year-old child gave her sister or a drug that made
make
her
her sleep.
so it does happen. It's just that we need to, I think, try to be more responsible.
Oh, okay.
All right, let me take this call, then we'll wrap up on this. Good morning, Dr. Faith. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, and I called in because I'm a doctor and I've worked with children for a while. So, first thing I want to say is that people should show more empathy towards, because there are a lot of things that could have, moved her to do that. And one of them I suspect is postpartum depression, which is very common amongst developing nations. So it can be an undiagnosed postpartum depression that must have led her to do that. And then the absence of a community to help raise that child. Because the truth is no one person can raise a child, especially when it's a newborn. And that was from the papers that I read, that was her first child. So she needed a community to help her with it.
Right.
And if she did not have that, as she was going through postpartum depression, she needs help rather than criticism. That's my take.
Fantastic. I think we can wrap up on that because
The community did her very well after she killed the child.
but that's not always the answer because, as you said, it's postpartum. It could be
Yes.
postpartum depression. That needs
No,
real
But
medical
remember,
attention.
she went out.
Yeah, but it's still part
But
of
that's
trying
it's part
to.
of it. It might be a coping mechanism
Yes,
for the
you.
emotional.
So there are different
for
things
for
that you need to go
emotions.
through the
No,
emotions.
no.
Some
She
people-
wasn't coping. She was.
We are not medical
No,
doctors here.
we are
We are saying that
not.
there's a
No, people-
possibility
no.
You
that
can't
she was
say
trying
that.
to cope
You
with.
know people's
Talk where-
minds.
I know women
No.
who drink with the baby in front of them, coping, drink. You hide the baby in the house so you can go have fun. You can go and have that fun responsibly, give the baby to anybody else. But
And
People
we should
going
not
through
be
point-
emotional
point
challenges.
is that-
I don't tell them how they should go.
yeah,
through
yeah.
it.
I've seen somebody with
clubbing.
postpartum depression, and they are listless. They are not going to go and club.
Hey.
They are listless. They let themselves go.
They will
When
tell
you
you
see
that
them,
mental issue is a spectrum.
Yes.
Depends on with the person you meet.
man,
It could be on the left, it could be in the middle, it could
Let's
be
not
right.
excuse bad
Depending on where
behavior.
you are. So the point is, we don't know how people respond. People respond in different ways.
Let me
You
take-
don't have enough time to take callers to say, listen, they even went there. They didn't want to see the baby. Just take me out of here. I want to go somewhere else. So let me just let the baby keep quiet. You know,
can
there are
have
different
that
ways.
one. Yes, you can have that one.
So I'm saying that there are different ways. We have to wrap up. Let's take a few comments and we'll wrap
Just
up.
one. Called from Clifford says, it is well. Parents, not women alone. Men need to do more in raising up a child, especially in this generation. They need to teach their kids how to deal with peer pressure and online presence, because what these kids are turning out to be, it is well.
That's a different conversation. All right, we have to wrap up with it. But let's, I think in a nutshell, community living is important. Let's also use a community. This is a young mother, and many of this, as she said, some young mothers go through this, and they need that community around to help and support them. Also, people have that medical situation of the postpartum depression. It's real. It happens to different people in different ways. So we can't really judge this situation, but we need to understand that we need to help each other, especially when you have a mother who is struggling with the emotional burden of
Say
this.
something.
Yes.
Those many mothers that are beating her, did they reach out to help?
Yes, exactly. So, all right, we have to wrap up on this. We have to just mention that because anytime we see stories like that, it's important for us to raise it and talk about it again, just to remind ourselves the importance of paying attention and helping each other. We're going to go on a break now. We'll come back, we'll discuss CBN policy. We'd like to hear you to call because we mentioned it in the paper review, but it would be better for you to call as Nigerians. Maybe Governor Emefiele will be watching this morning. Let him hear directly from you. So if you've experienced going to the bank and you saw new notes, please call in. If you experienced going to the bank and there were no new notes, please call in. Everybody has gone to the bank in the last 24 hours.